Hey everybody, and welcome back to round 2 of the 2020 Played Against Sports Jonesboro Open presented by Prodigy Discs. We have our Chased FPO card with Krissie Fountain from Texas, Emily Beach from Oklahoma. We got local Arkansas Cat Mertsch, and rounding out our Chase card for the FPO coverage, Ellen Widboom, hailing from Florida. So these girls are ready to do some battle, do some damage, catch that lead card. Here we are, is hole 1 to 380 foot par 3. Krissie setting the bar high with a great drive, leaving herself a little bit short, but still doing very good. This course measures at around 8,500 feet. It's a par 66. So it's looking like hole 1 is actually averaging about a 2.89. So the average is slightly under par, and Cat shows us how that average comes to be with a great drive parking that hole. Ellen with an improved shot on round 1. Round 1, she was off to the right a little bit. This time she kind of narrowed it in, put it over on Circle's edge. Emily leaving her drive a little bit short and leaving the upshot a little bit short on Circle's edge. But she's going to have a putt. Krissie just with the up and down. And Emily coming just a little bit short. Hitting that low left side cage. Putting struggles are real, people, especially on the first hole, but not for Cat. Cat gets the birdie on hole 1, helps set that average of the .11 under the average for the hole. Ellen taking 3, Emily walking off with the bogey, and Krissie is going to take out the 3 as well. Hole 1 is complete. Even, +1, -1, and even. We're going to go over to hole 2. Hole 2 is a par 4, 605 foot shot, 605 foot hole. Cat taking the big hyzer. Hole 2 averages even across the board for all FPO players, so the par 4 is a pretty good standard. Ellen taking the left route again. Yesterday she was a little bit on the left side, so this time she put a little bit more right angle on it. Hits a gap, but she's going to have a little bit of trouble with a wall of trees in her way. And Emily, who's a lefty, cuts that edging a little bit tight, but she turns out okay. Hers are one of the discs on the ground there. One of the really cool things about this course that I like is this rolling elevation. You can see here where they're having to throw up the hill with the low ceiling. That does not affect Emily though. Emily with a great up and down. And here's that wall I was talking about with Ellen. Trying to go high, found herself a branch in the way. So now Ellen's let's go the low route. And there she goes. She executes that low route good. The Cat, that second shot, holds on to it a little bit. Luckily, it had enough overstability and fade on it. It's going to put her in putting distance. Perfectly center putt for Cat, just a little bit low. Ellen's going to walk off with the birdie. Krissie's going to walk out of there with a par. Emily taking the solo birdie. And Cat walking out with a par. You see the expression on her face. Wasn't really happy with that. Even, -1, +1. 1 birdie, 1 bogey, 2 pars. Hole 3, par 3, 310 foot. This is one of the easier holes on the course. averaging a .28 under par. And Emily shows another way of why this is a birdieable hole. Big lefty hyzer, and Kat is going to take the big righty hyzer. However, Kat, who doesn't know her own strength, went a hair deep. So as I mentioned on hole 1, Kat is a local Arkansas native, about an hour and a half away from Jonesboro. And as she was teeing off, and actually throughout this whole round, she had fans just in every little nook and cranny throughout the course. It seemed like every time we came around a corner, she had people there cheering her on. It's got to be pretty exciting for any local player just to see the support. Krissie a little bit short, that low left side cage. And Kat with the circle's edge birdie putt. Emily right side chains, but it's stuck in for the birdie. And Alan with pretty much a drop in, about a 10-foot putt to put her out on the board, or put her back to even. And Krissie with the par. Hole 3, 3 birdies, 1 par, even, -1, -2, and even. Hole 4, par 4, 630-foot shot. Emily with that lefty hyzer, a little low. She's going to have a little bit of a tree to contend with. Kat with the opposite, going with the low hyzer. She's going to be in a wide open field for her second shot. Little high there for Ellen, knocks her down, so cut a little bit of distance off, where Krissie threw it low underneath the trees but faded out a little early. Our Ellen with the big sidearm. Beautiful shot. Big hyzer for Kat. This is one of the holes I was talking about. Around the corner here, left of this basket, there's a parking lot, and it was full of Kat supporters. So this hole 4 is it averages a 4.11, so slightly over par. So it seems like it's a good par 4. It's all the girls are shooting exactly with that par, with a few people maybe a slightly over, a few birdies, few bogeys. Emily and Krissie with the pars. Kat with the birdie too. You can see her expression, all the people there are cheering for her in the background. And even Ellen, you can see her smile here, just waving off to the fans of all the people cheering on Kat. 1 birdie, 3 pars, even, -1, -3, and even as we go into hole 5, a par 3, 345 foot. This hole plays a little bit harder with all that OB to the right and an OB valley in between our fairway and the basket. This one is averaging a .22 over par, which means a lot of the girls, or there's enough girls, about 25% of the girls who are finding their way to OB. I don't know if it's exactly OB or missed putts, but they're about almost just under 25% are not getting the 3. But these girls are playing safe, staying away from that out of bounds. Great up and downs by Krissie and Ellen. Emily let that get away from her a little bit, but she's going to be putting. Kat's going to put that right up underneath the basket. Ellen said, I'm not going to be a statistic. I am getting that par 3. Another par. Emily held on to that a little bit, went right side, but she taps in, takes her bogey, and moves on. And Kat with the 3. 1 bogey, 3 pars, even, -3 and even. Kat is out there with the -3. Hole 6, par 3, 315 feet. You see you got to clear this creek. And Kat knows exactly how to do it. There's also right behind it the big circular island with the signs. Anything outside of those signs on dry land is also out of bounds. Ellen with the left hyzer sidearm going to the bottom right corner. She's just in bounds, but she is in bounds. Or Krissie is going to take it a little bit wider on the right side with that flick, but comes in easily by a mile. And right there, she'll have a putt as well. Here's Emily. It's a little bit low. Get up. Oh, yes. Skipping off the water, making it inbounds right on the corner. It was weird footing for Emily. Made it, plus that elevation uphill made it a little bit tough for her. So she went a little bit left on that putt. Same thing with Ellen, but she went right. And Emily was like, yep, so be it. I'm knocking this par, move on. And Kat with the big 2. Krissie just looked like she didn't have quite enough grip on that. It kind of wobbled coming out of her hands as she hit that face mask. I'm sure she's definitely going to want that one back, but she taps in still for the par and moves on. 1 birdie, 3 pars. Kat with the -4. Everybody else sitting at even. Here was hole 7. It's a par 4, 545-foot shot. A little bit of rolling elevation off the tee box. Kat hits early on the left. And Ellen, who's calling this tree a tree magnet because she was in the exact same spot yesterday. When I say yesterday, I mean round 1. Emily with a great follow-through crush. Kat straight line, but a little bit low. And I just was thinking of both Kat and Haley and Emily, these big crush girls. And right on hole 1, as Kat was throwing, she threw that big shot. And, oh, Ellen hitting the early tree, but at least knocks her out. Well, anyway, someone in the crowd just yelled the word "smashed potatoes." And I thought that was pretty clever. I'm going to use that from now on. Emily with the huge drive, with the toss up for her second shot, a little bit high, hits the tree and drops, but it's going to leave herself a putt. Krissie putting her disc underneath the basket. Should be able to take the 4, the drop in par. This is hole 7. It pretty much plays right at around par 4, just slightly over, a .06 above par. So in for the birdie 3. Ellen's ready to get off that hole with the bogey. Had a little bit of trouble there behind the porta-johns and the early tree from her second shot. A couple other pars. We move on to hole 8. 1 birdie, 1 bogey, 2 pars, even, -1, -4, +1. Hole 8. Par 3, 324 feet. Lefty Emily Beach, big hyzer. Bam! Smacks the bottom of the basket. Cav the hyzer. I'm going to lose this a little bit as it fades out. I realize I lost it, so then now I found it. Just a little bit too much of an overstable disc there for Cat. And here we got Krissie with the sidearm. But she's going to burn that a little bit early to catch those trees. She makes her way into the trees a little bit, but she's not going to really have much of a putt. And a great shot by Ellen, leaving herself outside circle 2. Krissie just laying up, not even giving that a try. A bunch of trees in her way. And Emily with the beautiful chews, smacking off the blue board right there. I actually, as a single camera operator on this hole, ran out in front of them so I could film from the basket side. Was breathing fairly heavy. I told her it was worth it just to see her get that near ace. It was near ace at the base of the pole. Hole 8, 1 birdie, 3 pars, even, -2, -4, +1. Hole 9, par 5, 715 feet. And Emily Beach again with the smash. Smash potatoes is what I heard. Got a little high with that left fade. Hole 5 here does average up a 5. So the par is definitely set correctly. Krissie fading off to the right a little bit, but she'll be okay for her next shot. And Ellen with the early release, or a little late release, I guess, and hitting the trees and getting knocked straight down. Trying to flex the sidearm, but she gets that turned over a little too much. She's going to be up against the tree wall, as you can see here. Doesn't have much of a shot where she's at, so she just throws the forehand roller. She was trying to go a little bit more forward up the hill as opposed to straight vertical. Again, these beautiful rolling hills make for a challenge. And Ellen just not getting the favored luck on this hole. Emily throwing her second shot after her booming hyzer. Trying to throw a lefty turnover. Catches the trees though a little bit early. It's going to knock her down. You know, and trying to get that turn over sidearm. Just faded a little bit more. Didn't come out nearly enough for her. Great shot by Krissie. Emily just playing safe, trying to put it up there. It does have a little bit of a drop off behind it, so even the safe play that these girls are doing, as you can see, Kat's telling the disc to go down, it rolls pretty fast. Ellen going for the run. Little left side there for Krissie. Again, some of that angles of putting can make it very difficult, but not for Emily, who's going to knock out the birdie. Cat up and down with the birdie, putting her to -5 on 9 holes. Super sweet. Double bogey for Ellen. She's ready to move on and get this hole over with. Krissie knocks out the par. That is hole 9. 1 par, 2 birdies, 1 double, even, -3, -5, +3. That is the end of our front 9. Stay tuned and follow us up for the back nine for the Play It Again Sports Jonesboro Open presented by Prodigy, a Disc Golf Pro Tour event.